All right, so let's understand the consulting traits. Now, if you see, this is a repetition of the attributes of a consultant that we discussed in the first one, right? But now start viewing this, how each of these traits work for three different types that we discussed. Okay, the changed element that comes about is the S of the sleep. Okay, the solution selling capabilities. Now, if you realize what has happened up till now and what we discussed, right? Once a problem is understood, right, it goes through a filtering process, which I mentioned in the first one as well. The problem that is understood, right, it comes to a subject matter expert differently, a business consultant differently, as well as a technology consultant differently, right? Because they look at it and view it in different angles, okay? And then they bucketize it. So first, let's understand what goes into the larger solution. That means the funneling of getting the outcome from a consulting exercise, which leads like a funnel mode. If you see on your screen, it starts with the understanding of the problem, what has been communicated by the customer. You find the pointed solution using those 7 steps we discussed. You prioritize it, right? And because again, you don't divulge the whole thing in one shot once you know the solution, because you would know it on day one itself, but you start divulging in a smaller pieces after testing waters in the cultural setup. And with that said, you then present the right one which is appropriate for that given scenario, okay, given the ecosystems and the environments and the futuristic solutions and so on and so forth. Okay, but the very fact that how an SME sees this, okay, now a subject matter expert will look at a problem in a very narrow fashion. He'll go even very, very narrow. The pointed solution he comes out will be pinpointed. For example, a taxation related issue that company is facing, right, because of which they are paying taxes which are way above that have been happening for last 3 years. Now that could be a scenario of a problem which they can bring to a consultant. Now the consultant goes deeper because he is an expert in the field in a specific country, in specific city, if you will, and at that specific law that is required to be refurbished. Now maybe the company might not know what sort of laws have come into existence because of some foreign activity. These guys bring that about. Now once they are thinking this problem, they might know already the solutions, right? An SME. Okay. So just to verify, then he does his interviews, he does his group calls, his workshops, this and the other, until he finds that whatever he had thought through is a tick mark or not, or otherwise he divulges into further research and gets the input out. Okay. Now, given the same problem, the problem would be heard by a business consultant when he speaks to a chairman or CEO. He's saying that, we're losing money, guys. We were doing X amount of dollars. We're doing X minus maybe 10% dollars more, right? And more of it is going now in not paying off our taxes. That's what is coming about, what the finance guys tell him, right? Now look at that. Now a business guy will start looking from a business perspective, saying that maybe their operations are giving a problem. That's why the 5% leak is happening. He might be thinking the overheads have increased over a period of time because that is happening, right? So he'll go in that direction until he finds it is a tax issue, right? Then he gets us as subject matter expert. So when the customer comes, he doesn't know what the issue is, right? Typically, he might just say, I'm leaking some 10%, and since last 3 years, probably it is because some taxations that we're paying extra tax, right? They will not know why. So a customer will not know, but they'll ask for a consultant. A consultant who comes will be a business consultant because they're losing revenue. That's why the business domain comes into play. So he thinks very differently. Hence, he will know a solution in his mind that could be these 3-4 reasons. But once he dwells deeper, right, his workshops, his lectures, his inputs that he keeps on getting, now he'll get deeper, and he realizes that maybe, out of 1, 2, 3 solution, this is the 4th one, which doesn't come into my purview. I'll get the tax consultant, and the SME comes into play. But if the customer knows already that the taxations is causing the issue because of the law change, they will ask for specifically for a tax consultant, and then he views it very differently. So that cycle is very small comparatively. Okay, but that is never the case. It always comes from a business route and then goes all around the circles. Now, by doing this, a technical consultant will think differently. Okay, he will think there is a glitch in the software because of which it's giving a 5% problem. as a typical technology guy would do. He will always blame he will try to think technology straight away, right? But if you're a well-rounded consultant, right, hence they don't divulge the solution immediately. They will wait, they go deeper, see all the tick marks until the point where the check marks are to the point where they have done the research, they have verified, and then they go about divulging it. So and the reason I'm mentioning this is, once you go about, facing such situations in front of a customer, you don't have to start jumping into the solution right away. I mean, if you know it, right? Understand, go deeper, right? Because customer might communicate what he knows and what his mindset, what actually could be a different problem altogether. Okay, so you need to wear one of those hats once you're going there, and then come to the right hat. And if it's not you, you might take help from your external consultants or the ecosystem you created around you to find that solution and then present it accordingly. Okay, so hence it's an important element to understand which trait that one falls into and which hat should be worn at the right time to give the right kind of solution. Make sense? All right, with that, let's jump to the next one. What is the key outcome or the showcase of a successful consulting exercise? Okay, I'll see you there.